trunk, I open up, I sold my soul a good price.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nerd Talk podcast by thedigitalworm.com. I'm your host Matt. I'm here with my buddy John. John, say hello.
What's going on, everybody?
Every episode we find 10 things on the internet we think are worth talking about, and then that's exactly what we do. We talk about them. And to start off this week, we're going to go to Saudi Arabia and Canada. There's a teenager there who fled from her family, and she went to Thailand, and Thailand was like, nah, this isn't going to happen. You need to go back. And so she barricaded herself in a room, pleaded on Twitter for somebody to help her, and eventually Canada took her in. If she would have gone back, she would have faced some pretty severe consequences to running out like that. She could have been killed, she could have been beaten, she could have been tortured, all by her family, who apparently has every legal right to do so. I saw an article like a week or two ago where Saudi Arabian women now have to be sent a text message when they're divorced, because apparently up until a couple of weeks ago, you could just divorce your wife and not even have to fucking tell her about it, which is just absurd. So I don't know what's going on over there. I honestly don't know a whole lot about that country and how they operate, but I've never heard anything good about how they treat women ever in my entire life. And I'm glad this girl was able to get out. John, what do you think?
I mean, realistically, she's probably really lucky to not be dead.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Is absolute monarchy. There's none of the things that we think of when we think of government really apply in Saudi Arabia. It's not a representation of government at all. It's just not how it works. Realistically, it's a pretty fucking scary place to be someone who's not a brown male. I can't help but think that up until maybe 2 years ago, I would have taken her in. As always, embarrassed of us, that it wasn't us. Because I feel like that's kind of the role that the last 250 years has been, this is who we have been until 3 years ago.
I'm glad that Canada took her, though. I feel like Canada's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for there? Like, I feel like,
Better than us.
They're better than us. They do not have their heads jammed completely up their own asses. They're doing things that we should be doing, and we should be jealous of them and ashamed of ourselves. So you ready to move on?
Absolutely.
All right. So next article, I found this on Engadget. The title was "Google sued for allegedly covering up sexual misconduct allegations." That's not surprising anybody, right? I mean, they just had a walkout, etc. There's been some sketchy shit going on over at Google. What really caught me off guard was that it was one of the shareholders of their parent company that was filing this lawsuit. Apparently, he alleges that other members of the board of directors were in on these cover-ups, where they were essentially paying off these high-level executives that were accused of sexual harassment, even if it turned out to be real. Like, if there was, there's always an investigation whenever an executive like this is accused of sexual harassment, just to see if there's any merit. And I mean, often there is, of course, because why would people make that shit up? Yeah, like so what's going on is one of these guys, Andy Rubin in particular, received a $90 million exit package. Apparently hundreds of millions of dollars have been given out in exit packages because Google's trying to sweep all of this crap under the rug. I think this is a travesty. It's not like people are going to suddenly stop using Google, but this is bad.
Well, clearly no one's going to stop using Google. That's not going to happen. I can't imagine being surprised at this situation, given that we live in a culture that one of the banks almost caused the United States not to exist anymore based on financial bullshit. Bail out the banks, but we, paid, almost ruined us completely. Nothing's going to make sense. It's never going to make sense.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is this
Really
really
makes sense. Um, the people who are on top are always going to be on top, and the people who are on top are always going to get away with shit. It's just always going to be how it is.
But what's bothering me is now Google's trying to say, you guys should give us this money back. Like, who in their right mind is going to give that fucking money back? Like, there's probably a good portion of it that was spent immediately just in case they ended up in jail, right? Or hidden away in some sort of like a bank on the Cayman Islands or somewhere, some offshore dummy account. Do what?
That money's certainly gone one way or another.
Yeah, like 100%.
Back on that.
I mean, for sure. Hookers, like cocaine, like offshore bank accounts, like there is no more money there. Like, and there's no way they're going to be able to trace it. But Google definitely has a problem, and they need to fix it. That's fucked up. That A, it's happening, and B, it's being covered up. I mean, we've seen cover-ups like this in the past, but Google is supposed to be like a next-level business, Like, they're supposed to be different from all the other corporations. I mean, that's what they prided themselves on for, the better part of 25 years.
Right.
And it turns out...
I mean, it's just never true, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's just never true.
Yeah, so, you know what? I mean, Google, fuck you guys. All right, so this one's for you, John. This is another one that came from Engadget. The headline was, "Take a look at Bell and Uber's flying taxi of the future." This is something you have been super excited about ever since I mentioned it, either last week or the week before. What did you think? What do you think about the idea of flying taxis? Do you think it's going to be up there with driverless vehicles?
Absolutely. I think that it's interesting that they're talking about being able to start testing. Was it 2023? I mean, that's sooner than it feels like, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like we're gonna see this shit going down in our lifetime for sure. Which, when I was a kid, I never thought that I would see flying vehicles like this.
That definitely was not on the radar at all. It's super interesting that this is where we are as a society, and assuming we don't blow ourselves up, I think this is going to be a great thing.
Yeah, there's always that.
Probably commercial use is I would say that realistically, they tend to be pretty cautious on that kind of stuff. The 150-mile radius is places maybe not the best for the western part of the country. As a point of reference to anyone listening, Matt and I are in Roanoke, Virginia, which means we are, as the crow flies, about 130 miles away from 170 miles away from DC. So we couldn't quite get DC on that one, but you can get to Richmond, you get to multiple large cities within North Carolina. And then, you just go from Richmond, you go to DC or Baltimore pretty easily. So realistically, it could be a very fast way to flying. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool. Not to mention the prototype looks pretty slick. I mean, I don't think it'll look like this when it's all said and done, but what they had here,
probably not, but still looks cool as shit.
Yeah,
though.
It looks cool as shit, dude. I loved it. All right, so we're going to move on to our next topic of the day. John actually pointed this one out to me, which is weird because usually I'm the one going after the content, but when something like this happens, John's on it. He's on that shit quick. Netflix this week announced that they were going to hike their prices. It looks like the $10.99 a month plan is going to go up to $12.99. The $7.99 is going to $8.99, and the premium plan is going from $13.99 to $15.99. Personally, I don't care. I'm actually happy to see this price increase, and I'll tell you why. They are spending a ton of money on content, and this price hike means they want to continue spending a ton of money on creating great content. These actors and actresses, they have to be paid. The staff has to be paid. The directors, the writers, like everyone has a handout. Like these are massive, massive productions. and everyone needs to get paid because we all got bills, we all got to eat. So no, I do not have a problem with this. I think it's probably past due, and I'm all for it. I mean, Netflix needs to continue to expand, and we need to give them the money to be able to do that. It's the next Stranger Things, the next great show on TV isn't going to be on CBS, NBC, ABC, or Fox. It is not. It's going to be on a streaming service because they have the freedom to do things these other networks can't do. So we have to give them our money to show them, like, you know, we appreciate this, we like the service, we're going to pay for it, and we're going to have to pay more for it eventually as they want to expand. John, I'll let you take it with your opinion from here.
I mean, I doubt that this price increase will directly lead to any new programming or anything. I mean, Netflix operates at a pretty big deficit overall. They might just be trying to pay bills. Hopefully, it's not just a matter of the guys at the higher up level want, you know, new Lamborghinis or something, so they're, you know, adding some fees and stuff. That's a thing that happens with large businesses, and you always have to have that in the back of your mind. Is this where this is going? Are these folks giving themselves raises? And if so, is it going to trickle down to the rest of the company? That's just an unfortunate reality in American business and worldwide business. I feel like they could operate on $10 a month from everybody as easily as they could on $12 a month from everybody. I doubt that, you know, I don't care because the $3 is a monster. You know, it's a Monster energy drink for me.
Right.
So it doesn't affect me personally, but I can't help but wonder if their you know, customers on Netflix, but you know, we're not on TV because we don't like TV, we don't care for it. But I don't know how many anymore are their customers because they actually can't really afford you know, both TV and the internet, and the internet's more important because you can't live without it in America anymore. So how that's going to affect some of those folks, and maybe there's less of them than there used to be. I don't really know, but I know that originally one of the of Netflix was, if you really can't afford a good cable package, here's something interesting. People, but who knows? I think that in the face of what is probably going to be 3 very large competitors for Netflix, it seems weird that they're doing a price increase because that market share is getting smaller and smaller every day.
Well, I think that AT&T and Disney are going to have some premium package availability that's going to be in the $40 to $60 range. And I still think no matter what, Netflix is still going to be the best out there with the lowest price. Like, I think Disney's going to offer a Hulu and Disney Plus like premium package, and then AT&T is going to have a premium package with DC, HBO, and some other stuff. And both of them are going to run fairly expensive.
If either of them add something that's a $60 a month, they are going to fail stupendously.
You think so? I mean,
this isn't pro sports. You're not getting a season ticket to the NFL here. That's the kind of niche to have that kind of exclusivity is not going to be there. No one cares that much about watching Westworld to be able, or reruns of the network to be able, to pay $60 a month for streaming anything. It's never going to happen.
You might be right.
It's never going to be as successful as they want it to be. Will 8% of the people who may have interest in it pay $60 a month for something like that? Maybe. There's never going to be the kind of interest that they really, really want to be considered successful in something like that.
That's fair. It just wouldn't surprise me to see it. Like, that's all I'm saying. I think no matter what, it's going to be more expensive than Netflix. How expensive? I mean, we can debate that.
Oh no, that's true. I'm expecting $25.
Okay, I could see that.
That's what I'm expecting. $25 and maybe a year buy-in with a slight discount if you want to make that option.
Fair. So moving on here, CBS News just announced their team of journalists covering the 2020 presidential election. And, unless you've been living under a rock for the last several years, race is probably going to be an issue in this election as far as racism and, who's going to get the black vote, and the political thing just keeps going on and on, and there's a real problem here. There are no African Americans at all on the CBS campaign crew. This is not an oversight. I don't think this is an oversight at all. I think it looks like pretty blatant racism to me. There's plenty of groups out there that will help you find black journalists if you want or need black journalists. That's a thing. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez even made a comment about it. This is not good. This is definitely blatant racism, and either that or somebody just completely dropped the ball. And if that's the case, then someone needs to get fired here. This is unacceptable. The 2020 election is going to be a big one. John and I were actually discussing it a little bit earlier in private. What do you think about this on the CBS crew, John?
I mean, CBS it's unsurprising that they would make a decision like this. I feel like at not being completely Caucasian for CBS is going to come off as extremely misguided. I actually legitimately watch programming by that company. I think that they have an underlying and pro Christian privilege slant, and have my whole life no interest in ever dealing with anything that they put out. The fact that they have included, I believe, two people of Asian descent and one Latino,
and it would appear someone of Middle Eastern descent as well.
is the one person that they consult for these type of staffing, saying, well, you need to have 3 people at least who aren't Caucasian, as opposed to trying to be representative, because you do need to represent those groups as well. It's important that as many views possible, but I don't think that CBS allows their people enough to go into how they want to report things that any particular view is going to be represented in their coverage. I don't know that I know anyone goes to them for news or for information, and I'm not sure how important CBS's coverage team for any particular situation is to a given situation.
That's fair.
News people, NBC is the news people for network television. They've always been. There's 6 different date lines. It has been for years. Like the NBC is the news people. They have a wildly diverse cast of producers and reporters, and have for years and years and years. CBS is indicative of the non-alt-right. And that's going to be people pretty much always.
Yeah, I agree, but it doesn't change the fact that it's fucked up, and I mean, how ridiculous can you be? I mean,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just not surprised by this.
Oh yeah,
there's no surprise for me that they would make a tone deaf decision. Someone within that company right now that's saying to people, "Hey guys, we do have minorities. I don't understand the problem," and it may even be that they really don't understand the problem. That they're just so tone deaf that they don't get there's an issue here.
I can see that.
Make sure they get that there's an issue is for people who are affected by this, notably people who are reporters and producers within the news to continue to talk about this. And it's important that they continue to get their voices out and continue to shout and demand to be heard. And the only way anything ever changes in this country is if you don't go away. Thanks for fucking ever.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's probably what needs to happen here. Because CBS definitely needs to change. I mean, if this is the way they think and the way they want to do things, they're not gonna make it too much longer. Like eventually, they're gonna go down because you just can't get away with this. They're also
very well known for homophobic programming and a slant towards just being xenophobic in many ways. There are a lot of problematic things about CBS as a broadcaster. This is the tip of the iceberg.
I unfortunately cannot comment on that because I haven't watched TV in so long. I just don't know jack shit about CBS, honestly. Not gonna lie here. I'd love to jump on ship with you and just be like, yeah, fuck those guys. But this is the only example I have of. But
it's based on things that I've read through, through articles and people publicly saying things. I haven't watched TV on a regular basis for as long as you haven't, but these things do come up from time to time. And entertainment is interesting to me, so I tend to remember entertainment stuff a lot.
That's fair. But just from this one example, I can definitely say, fuck you guys.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But you have a much larger example, and it's still fuck you guys. So I feel like we're still, no matter what, we're on the same page.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on here. Neither John nor myself are one of the hundreds of millions of people who are currently playing Fortnite. However, it's kind of hard to deny how successful this game is. It is a free-to-play game, and it made $2.4 billion in revenue in 2018. Now, $2.4 billion is a lot, but free-to-play games in general made $87.7 billion total last year, which was 80% of digital games revenue in 2018. Those are some big numbers, John. And, I mean, Fortnite is my opinion. I'm kind of tired of hearing about the game. Like, they just keep getting sued. They keep, they're kind of screwing the pooch a lot and ripping people off. And neither one of us are happy about that. But you got to admit, $2.4 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically hemorrhaging money at this point, which maybe it's time, Epic Games, just to go ahead and just pay these people you ripped off something.
Yeah.
How much is enough? Seriously, how much is enough? They could probably stop putting out content updates and just keep their servers up for the next 2 or 3 years and not lose much in the way of how steady the revenue is based on how addicted people are to playing their stupid fucking game.
According to this article,
Epic Games and pay these people.
According to this article, 34% of all U.S. players regularly buy shit for this free-to-play game. That blew my mind, too. A third. That's over a third of people are buying, like, cosmetics for this free-to-play game. It's just bonkers. Like, you guys are being legitimately sued. Cough up some of that dough because you fucked up and make these people happy. It's going to make you look better as a business. And it's also the right thing to do because... All right, this next article is a big deal for me. China grows the first plants on the moon. If you listened to this podcast before, you know I'm a space nerd. Yeah, this is a big deal. Like they were able. I mean, it's a fairly small environment. It's not like it's a giant biosphere or anything, but they were able to get cotton to sprout in a very small contained environment. And this is a big deal. This is the beginning of the future right here. If we're ever gonna see humanity leaving the planet on any kind of permanent level, it starts here. This is why we need to be paying attention to this stuff, because in 50, 100, 200 years, when people they're gonna see these giant biosphere things on the moon and Mars and everything else, growing plants, they're going to look back and they're going to see, this is the kind of event where all of this starts. And I'm really, really excited about it. John, I know you aren't quite as excited, but I was wondering if you had any comments. It's part of the show. I'll let you talk. I talk. We all talk. It's a good time.
I just want to know how the fuck long China has been floating around on the moon. What's really going on there? How long has this been happening?
I saw something a few weeks ago about where they were going to the far side of the moon. I did not look to see what they were doing. Usually when I see China's doing something, I assume they're up to no good. Like they're putting up more satellites to, help better track all of their people or something.
Realistically, it just seems like prepared for other things except for the United States, and all we're doing is complaining about our politics. So, where's my Mars colony? That's what I want to fucking know. Like if China can grow plants on a rover moon, what are we doing? Nothing. That's what, and that is very disconcerting to me.
We're getting really, really mad at Elon Musk for smoking weed. That's what we're doing.
This is extremely disconcerting. I don't understand why people aren't more angry about this. We are supposed to be. Yeah, how did China get up there before Japan did? I thought Japan was the great innovator of technology and electronics. This is kind of blowing my mind here. And it really goes to show that we really don't know what the fuck's going on in China right now.
We have no clue, dude. Zero.
This stuff that's trickling in and out, the stuff that's trickling through that we've been talking about over the past X number of weeks with the social reporting and using technology to spy on their people. It really seems to me that this is the tip of the iceberg. No fucking clue what these people are capable of. And that should scare you. It should.
I'm scared and excited at the same time because to me this is a big deal.
It feels like this is one of those things that leads to of other that probably is not going to include, and that's a bummer to me. It's not surprising, that we're not exactly the good guys of the world. Still disappointing.
Yeah, it would have been nice for us to get there, but I mean, we can't always be first. And when it comes to space exploration, there's been a lot of cuts.
I'd be happy to be present. I don't have to be first at anything. Right. I just want to be in the room.
That's fair. But I hope, as fucked up as China is, I hope they continue to push with this project and see what all they can do with it. And it's definitely should be an eye-opening experience for the other governments of the world who are in on space travel, like us and Russia, Japan. This is the future right here. Like the key to us being able to go about on the universe and being able to survive. This is where it all starts. So let's go ahead and move on here. Next topic. YouTube bans dangerous challenges and pranks. They claim that was the headline on another one from Engadget. But this was the headline here. Now that they claim that this has nothing to do with the Bird Box challenge, and it's been in the works for a couple of months. But I mean, why are people doing this Bird Box challenge? Like, why the hell are they doing it? Like, people have been hurt, and
unfortunately, humans have no natural predators. We're bored, man. And the bored plus cameras plus the internet means, hey, I would like to make a lot of money. And YouTube, money for being popular. And realistically, we like things that are dangerous as people. We like to live vicariously through others. And is go on YouTube and look up these parkour dudes who go on top of these 40, 50-story buildings and jump from building to building, and look at how many millions of views those guys are taking their own lives in their hands every single time they do that. And they're having a blast, of course. I mean, how could that not be? That kind of adrenaline rush has got to be fun.
I can't
But
watch that shit.
realistically-
It freaks me out, dude. Like
I'm specifically, I actually love those videos. I watch them all the time. Not all the time, but when they show up down the rabbit hole, I will watch them. And it's this whole living vicariously through other people's stupidity is a very real thing for a lot of people. And there are people who will spend hours just chasing down these videos. So there is merit to the idea that there are people who really enjoy it. And you when you monetize that with ads, of course it's going to be, it's lucrative. And the more lucrative it is, the more people are likely to do it. And you have to push the envelope harder to do something different. Why people chose Bird Box, I don't know.
I haven't even watched the movie.
Have you watched that? Have you watched the film?
No, have not. Have you?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I watched it like the first week it came out. And realistically, it's a pretty good Cthulhu film, and that's what it is. It's a Cthulhu film. And I don't think I really spoil anything by saying that. The people who don't like it either just weren't going to like it or aren't Cthulhu people. The people who fucking love it are probably Sandra Bullock fans. Therefore, they're used to really shitty films. So when they come across an okay film, they're like, movies can be like this?
So
You're ridiculous?
I am not a Sandra Bullock fan because she's always in shitty movies, which is why I refuse to watch Sandra Bullock movies.
Yeah, well, this is a movie that happens to have Sandra Bullock in it, and it is absolutely not a shitty film. The casting overall, there are a lot of really famous people that I did not expect to see in this. The writing was good. It's a good movie. Is it the best movie of the last 2 years? Absolutely not. But it's probably the best movie she's ever been.
That is not really saying much.
Maybe not. But you also got John Malkovich in there. That dude is one of the best actors that's ever lived. He's fucking amazing.
He is really good, but he has also been in his fair share of shitty movies. But I mean,
yeah, I guess that's true. I also, realistically, I like B.D. Wong a whole lot, and that dude's in there. And I'll give anything that B.D. Wong's in, I'll give a shot. I love that dude.
Yeah, I really like him as well. He was Hugo Strange, right, in Gotham?
Yes, he was Hugo Strange in Gotham. He was. Have you watched Mr. Robot by chance?
I don't think so.
100%. He plays a good character in that show. They've done, I think, three seasons of that so far. I'm not a fan of the world of Law and Order, but he was in Law and Order Special Victims Unit for like 15 fucking years. He played the sex shrink in that. One of the few things about that show that made it watchable, although I would not consider that show to be watchable. He also was in Oz.
Really?
He's Oz. He plays the Father Ray.
I don't remember, dude. I haven't seen that show in so long.
Like 20 years, probably, right?
Yeah.
Same. I saw it when it first came out, basically.
Yeah, same. But that's crazy, dude. I did not realize he was in that show.
Oh yeah, there's been a ton of stuff.
But could you imagine putting on a blindfold and just walking around and doing this shit that these people are doing on YouTube? Like, I don't know,
man. I mean, realistically, have you never gotten up at 3 o'clock in the morning, anything, and just kind of like your bathroom or walk into the kitchen, get a glass of water just to see if you can do it without hurting yourself?
I mean, I usually know my area where I live in, like, well enough to where that's fine. Like, I don't, I walk the same paths all day, every day, especially in my
but there's
home.
still a little bit of a level of danger in the back of your head, though. In that is like, man, did I move my chair 6 inches to the right yesterday? That box I got from UPS in the middle of the floor, or did I move it?
Well, no.
Maybe it's just me.
No, it's not just you, obviously. I mean, these challenges are a big deal, apparently. It just seems crazy to me, is all. Like, I just can't imagine.
Now, realistically, I feel like within 2 or 3 years of YouTube existing, they should have started to demonetize things that are dangerous to the people who are doing those things. I think that the corporate greed of
Google, you can say it. This is once again Google.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the fact that they know they can make so much money off dangerous shit that they don't like the idea of inhibiting those things, because it really is where the money is in a lot of ways, and I get that. I do get that.
Google makes a fuck ton of money, dude. A fuck ton of money.
Well, they make money on levels that probably don't make sense numerically to us as humans. Like that's just what it is.
Talking about Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, I thought this trailer was fantastic, and Jake Gyllenhaal just came through looking like a boss. Love this trailer. I think this movie is going to be fantastic. John, what do you think? Like, I think
that Mysterio's suit looks like they pulled it straight out of a comic book. It's really, really well done.
Yeah.
I think that the casting looks really good in this film. I like everything about what I saw.
Looks like we're gonna have. Sorry, go ahead. Finish up.
I'm stoked to see Nick Fury. I'm always happy to see Samuel Jackson on the screen.
That's what I was about to say. Is it looks like we're gonna have a little bit more Nick Fury in this film than we have had in previous ones, which is great. This is fantastic. This is something you and I both wanted.
I'm just wondering how far into the film we're going to get before it turns out, before it's clear that Mysterio is the bad guy. That's what I want to know.
I don't want to know. I actually want that to be a complete and total surprise.
Oh, I'm saying like I'm ready to watch the film because I want to know as I watch. I want to see how the film plays out. They've got me really interested. You know, what's crazy to me is when people who aren't really comic book characters, who aren't really comic book fans, go to see the film because they like Spider-Man movies and they like the Marvel movies. The reaction that these people are going to have when they have no idea who the fuck Mysterio is, and when that heel turn happens, people who don't know comics are gonna blow their minds. It's gonna be amazing.
Probably gonna be mad.
Maybe some of them, but I think most of them probably will be open-minded enough to take it as a film. But realistically, I'm kind of envious of those people whose minds are just gonna be blown by that heel turn. That's just gonna be so cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be this trailer did what a trailer is supposed to do. It hyped up the movie, and it's getting everybody excited to see it. Like, even in the face of so many great comic book movies getting ready to come out, you know, we got Shazam, Captain Marvel, the last Avengers film, you know, three huge big budget movies all coming out right before the Spider-Man movie, and I'm still super hyped to see the Spider-Man movie. I'm now super hyped to see the next 4 superhero movies coming out. Like, I'm looking forward to each and every one of them.
When is Endgame? That is before Spider-Man, right?
Yes. Spider-Man's not coming out until July.
Right. So Endgame is soon then?
I think it's March, April, May as far as Captain Marvel, Shazam, and Endgame. I'm not sure the order. I think Endgame is May or late April. Captain Marvel's in March, and I think Shazam is either in March or April. I can't remember.
Yeah, Captain Marvel is definitely in March because it was on that other thing you sent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed that one. It was supposed to be right before this.
Okay. Did I miss any other ones? I just want to make
we
sure.
We just do it afterwards. No, that was it.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second to bring that article back up. Okay. Wow. Now I'm wondering if I've
I
ever
do
done
like the
that
spider
before.
suit in this.
What, the stealth suit or?
There's 2 versions. Yeah. Did you notice there's 2 versions of this trailer?
I know they released one at a Comic-Con in Brazil about a month ago, but I did not know there were 2 versions released in the U.S.
Yeah, there's 2 versions. One of them is slightly more comical than the other. Ironically, the one that slightly more comical is got a censored in it. The part where the one dude is saying that he likes Spider-Man above the other heroes, and Parker starts to walk up a little bit.
Right. And Sam Jackson tranks his ass.
No. The one where all the kids are talking together, and the guy's like, "I like Spider-Man because he."
Oh, Flash. That's Flash Gordon or
Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson.
Is
Sorry,
that supposed to be Flash Thompson?
that is supposed to be Flash Thompson.
None of that casting. I got one that I'm not really a big fan of.
Yeah, me either.
I didn't watch Homecoming, so I don't know these things. I eventually will go back and watch Homecoming, though. It looks like a good film.
It's good. I mean, I'm a big Michael Keaton fan. You know, he was the original Batman, so it was cool to see him step around, play a villain.
Supposed to be this like stereotypical jock asshole dude, and the guy definitely clearly is an asshole. But Parker walks up and Flash says, "What's up, Dick Breath?" Well, in the edited version that has different footage, that's more comical. I think he just calls him a loser. Yeah, he's a loser. It's kind of weird how bad the editing is, actually.
I did not see both of these versions, so I don't know, but that is pretty funny. I'm super excited to see this movie, though. I think 2019 is going to be a great year for superhero films. We'll see how things go with the X-Men, though.
I mean, how could they not be awesome? Are you kidding me? We're getting New Mutants, and it's a horror film. We're getting the Dark Phoenix saga. This is gonna be great.
They're doing a lot of reshoots for Dark Phoenix. What I've read on the internet so far say it's probably the worst X-Men movie ever created. That could just be haters and trolls and bullshitters, though. You
I mean,
know.
realistically, who is it that's saying these things? I haven't seen any of this.
I'll send you some links. I've been trying to stay away from those kind of haterade fueled articles just because I don't like to read them.
All right, well, that's fair. It just to me is like, what website are these? I mean, is this moviepoopshoot.com or you know?
I just watched Jay and Silent Bob the other day. That's so funny.
Fucking movie.
Which
it's
is
back on Netflix, right?
Yep, and it's also being rebooted. Kevin Smith is rebooting it. And the title...
is it rebooting or is it a sequel?
It's actually called Jay and Silent Bob Get a Reboot.
Come on, Kevin.
I think it's probably going to be funny.
I know you had a near-death experience recently, but Kevin Smith, you got to be fucking kidding me. You are better than this.
Dude, look it up. Look it up. It's on IMDb, man.
I will not. I refuse. I am so disappointed in Kevin Smith right now. Holy shit. That guy is one of my heroes, and he is.
Well, he really wanted to do Clerks 3, but Jeff Anderson apparently just didn't want to do it.
Television series. He wanted to do Mallrats, the television series, and he got every single person in the film Mallrats to sign off on being on the show, and no one would fucking carry it because everyone's a fucking pussy.
Yep, probably. I mean, the guy was so far ahead of his time back in the 90s, dude. Wow. Good stuff.
That's why I'm so disappointed in him right now. Reboot. Oh, you've ruined my day.
I guarantee you we're going to see a lot of Jay and Silent Bob making fun of rebooted franchises and films and TV shows. And he's probably going to make fun of his own stuff as well because he always does.
Yeah, he's very good at making fun of his own work, for sure.
So moving on to our last topic of the day. This is awesome. There's a crowdfunding campaign and by nonprofit girls or the nonprofit Girls Inc. and another nonprofit organization called We Have Stories, and they've teamed up to raise money to help young girls especially young girls who are underprivileged, be able to go and see Captain Marvel. And it's not just about the movie ticket, it's also about refreshments, which I think is amazing, and it's a great part of it. Like, for a lot of us, it's not a full movie experience if we don't have the popcorn and the soda or the candy and the soda. Like, that kind of stuff goes hand in hand with watching a movie, and they're really going all out. and thus far have raised over $22,000 as part of their campaign to help these young girls see Captain Marvel. And it's a big deal for me because, you know, for a long time women were not getting the representation on screen for comic book heroes, and we're starting to see that change. And you know, Brie Larson is representing that first female standalone hero movie, and it's got some young girls really excited. I'm super happy to see We Have Stories and Girls Inc. Work on this project. John, what do you think?
Oh, I didn't. I had no idea that this was a thing. When you sent me the link, I immediately went and gave $5. $5 is not a lot, but if everybody who sees it does $5, then you know they should be able to get as many kids to go see this movie as they want. I think it's an awesome thing. I think it looks like it's only been up for about 9 days, so 22,009 days is not terrible. But I mean, the push towards showing the representation that's needed within this culture is really important. It's a really good thing. And you know, hopefully, Matt, we can get like a link to this thing on the.
Yeah, I'll definitely drop a link down there, for sure.
If everybody who sees this, you know, this website or this GoFundMe gets $5, sky's the limit on being able to do this. Apparently, one of those charities did the same thing, getting see Black Panther.
Yes,
which I thought was really cool. I had no idea that this was going on. I do like what Marvel's doing to start being more representational with their heroes. Hopefully this will continue when they finally get around to doing that Black Widow film that I've been waiting for the entire time. God damn it. They'll start pulling. There are a lot of really good female heroes and villains within Marvel's characters, and it's been pretty untapped so far. This is the herald of it changing and getting better.
This is off topic, but I saw some article, I can't remember where, this week that said Marvel now has its first drag queen superhero. Was that kind of done in jest, or was that like a legitimate hero character?
I don't know, honestly. The whole drag queen thing, man. Like, the people who are into that subculture it's really interesting. They take it really seriously, and it's awesome for them.
Right.
The part where it may be a little misguided to do that within mainstream comics, and it has to be handled very carefully, is that people who aren't in that culture tend to still be really derisive of stuff like that, and people who can't be bothered to learn the difference between a trans person and a cross-dresser and a drag queen and a non-binary person.
You're gonna start blowing people's heads up. You're gonna start blowing people's heads up, John.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point of everything. So all these things are very different from everything from each other.
Right.
Very different from everything else. And if you don't, in a proper, respectful way, it can come off being really tone deaf, and that's definitely not what Marvel needs right now. So hopefully, if that is the case, they'll do it in a tasteful fashion that is positive community, and it shows respect to everyone who could potentially be in a way.
Yep, I completely agree. So I think that is pretty much it for today, John, unless you have something you want to add to wrap the show up.
Nope, we're good here.
All right, and as always, when I post on YouTube as well as the website, I'll be posting links that are relevant to today's show, and that will include the GoFundMe to help get young women to go see Captain Marvel. So for Matt and John, We are the Nerd Talk Podcast representing thedigitalworm.com, and we're signing off for today. We'll catch you next week with a new show and 10 brand new topics to talk about. You guys have a good week. Take care.